All right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to a game between. It is going to be. Let me go ahead and double check this. It is going to be between Happy and TBC BM here on Dolaron. First of all, for those of you guys who don't like me streaming on Twitch far too much, there shouldn't be that many Twitch viewers on right now. If you guys haven't heard the news, patch 1.29. The patch notes are currently live on. Oh, hello. I say that and all of a sudden I get a viewer. Patch notes are currently live and up on Battle.net, so you can go ahead and review those changes in just a second. I'll probably be doing my own analysis, my own thoughts on the patch note changes, but I know there's also like over 1,000 people watching Back to WarCraft's channel right now, so not too concerned about getting over 5 or getting over, I would even say 15 viewers at this point. Anyways, gonna go ahead and break things down here. This is TBCBM versus Happy. Now, as you guys know by the names, this is an Undead mirror match. And unfortunately, both of the players are choosing names that I don't recognize. So I actually don't know who is playing who. Things should be interesting, though, as we are going to be looking at an Undead versus Undead matchup. It looks as though everyone is having a good time in the chat already. Tomb of Relics, a delayed Altar of Darkness, it appears. 133, not yet done. Meanwhile, across over here, we are going to be looking at also another delayed Altar of Darkness, meaning both sides should be going for heavier Crypt Fiends. Now, Crypt Fiends, a much stronger unit in this matchup, and we'll see whether or not it's going to be a Lich first. Nope, it is going to be a Death Knight, going up a Death Knight. Thank you for the subscription. Always good to have more subscribers here. Wow, that like just totally woke me up right there. And one of the reasons why I like streaming on Twitch is sometimes like I will just zone and I will just start talking and things don't really makes sense coming out of my mouth. I know that happens from time to time. And with the Twitch interaction, it actually keeps me a little bit more focused. It is a little bit distracting, but overall, I think it is a much better, better product for you guys. And they also point out things that I miss sometimes by being able to watch the mini-map. So that does happen. I don't have a co-caster next to me. I don't have a cameraman, controlling the map, things like that. I actually have to be concerned about how I move things on the map so that things look good for you guys. And because of all of that, because I'm trying to do all of those things, it actually makes it a little bit more difficult to have a really polished product for you. Being able to communicate with the viewers, I absolutely do love it. As we're going to be looking at the Crypt Fiends, well, attempting to take down this Apprentice Wizard creep camp, there is going to be some skeletal minions right down across here, as the Death Knight does in fact get slowed by that Rogue Wizard. Unit's going to get taken down. Cloak of Shadows has been dropped. Apprentice Wizard will get finished off. Meanwhile, at the opposite corner of the map, pretty much the same exact thing. However, Mantle of Intelligence is better than a Cloak of Shadows, as we're going to be looking at the units now doing a bit of engaging. Now, all that's really going to happen here is that the Crypt Fiends are going to be absorbing damage. The Death Knight, with that 200 hit point heal this early in the game, should be able to stop any death of any units right there, as you saw that unit able to escape once more. Skeletal Minions are now pushing back across here. You see 4 Skeletal Minions currently out. And oh, the red Crypt Fiend taking a lot more damage than he would like. A second Death Coil has gone out, so he is now pretty much out of mana, or maybe just one more Death Coil. He does have to be a little bit more careful in his next, excursion and engagement. New Skeletal Minions are added back up. It is going to be 3 versus 0, as you now see the units just trying to back off, getting into the proper position continually. Crypt Fiend's going to go after some units. The Skeletal Minions, for some reason, not engaging. There's the Death Knight now making its way across. As we see, both sides is playing a little bit of a game of chicken. No one wanting to make a mistake. It's kind of like all of this pre-flop action in poker. Both players are just trying to size each other up, trying to see what type of game this will be before we go into, the flop here, and the strategies are a little bit more well-formed, and you can kind of see what the middle and perhaps even the end game strategies will be. Death Knight coming back around, low hit point Crypt Fiend, gonna get a Death Coil, does get saved. Skeletal Minion gonna get taken down there. As you see, still, all of this early action, it seems to be like a lot of check, raise, re-raise in terms of poker. Not much really going on, as no one has a very solid strategy going into the mid portion yet. Let's take a look at what the mid portion strategies will be. It looks like a slaughterhouse will be placed down here. We can see some more creeping still being added. The Crypt Fiends rather strong against all of this piercing damage, and the Rogue and the Enforcer going to be taking a large amount of damage here, giving almost level 2 to that Death Knight. Should be level 2 after a couple of more creep camps. Meanwhile, you can see Red actually a little bit further ahead in terms of overall experience, but a little bit late to getting down this Goblin Merchant Shop. Back across here, Death Knight does get to level 2. Let's take a look. Enforcer going to get taken down. Item, Talisman of Evasion. Is he going to sell that? Yes, he will. 150 gold, 15 seconds worth of mining right there as the remaining rogues now get picked off one by one. Crypt Fiend looking to get back. Oh, Tome of Intelligence wants to be picked up. Make sure it is not given to his opponent, as both sides just creeping their own neck of the woods and wanting to get to that level 3. We should be at, well, Black Citadel already upgraded. Halls of the Dead now completed. Altar of Darkness training up a Lich on the other side. No training of a second hero yet, as a Slaughterhouse is now placed down. Slaughterhouse placed down also by Blue. So Blue is a little bit ahead in terms of the overall race, as the Death Knight gonna go ahead and start putting pressure on the Renegade Wizard creep camp here. Does get to level 3, picks up a Potion of Invulnerability, and is now opting to back off. That Bandit Lord should cause a lot of problems. It does do chaos damage. Perhaps one thing that's actually good right now, since that Crypt Fiend would normally already have been taken down because of that bonus damage there. Not this time around, as you can see the Bandit Lord still doing a bit of chasing. All right, Death Coil is going to be needed to save this low hit point Crypt Fiend. Why no Death Coil? Not quite sure. Finally gets it in, as the Crypt Fiends, well, now could be in trouble. Who's going to get the experience? Blue does get the experience. He gets the one of mana stealing, but what cost is it going to cost him? 350 gold for that Scroll of Town Portal. Doesn't get any extra experience, as all the units now go back to their respective corners. Lich out on the field. Oh, completely misrallied. This is a big deal here. Can the Death Knight actually finish it off? No, does not go after the unit. The Lich now wandering around here, perhaps hoping that it can get away, wants to keep track of the army. Not quite sure what Red was thinking. He could have perhaps gotten a surround on that hero. Unholy Aura does give a significant movement speed buff, as the Lich was not close to that Death Knight. Pure of Vitality going to get picked up right there as well. You can see Lich now out on the field. We are waiting for the Black Citadel to be done so we can get that Orb of Corruption that is oh so powerful for that Lich right there. All right, Tome now getting picked up. Crypt Fiends now making their rounds out. Hi, Prop says true. How you doing? As we're looking at off to the north, Lich and Death Knight sitting at level 1, level 3. Death Knight just outside of level 4. This Death Knight off to the south going to be staying at level 3 even after this creep camp. Lich should be joining up with the rest of the army with that Orb of Corruption, as we are now clearing out this center portion of the map. Lich should get some experience very easily, and the Death Knight is going to be staying at level 3. Naga Sea Witch could also be higher up here in just a second, as we're looking at a level 2 Lich now making its rounds back. Boots of Speed and Mantle of Intelligence. Death Knight now sitting at 4. Units are going back to their respective corners, as we are also looking at a Dark Ranger by Blue. Dark Ranger, Death Knight, Lich. Instead of a Naga Sea Witch, Silence could perhaps become extremely useful. Meanwhile, as all the units are going to be regrouping, what can a level 1 Lich really hope to accomplish? Dark Ranger, Black Arrows. Oh, going to come across these units here. Going to start firing some volleys, hoping to get some damage here. There's a big Frost Nova, and the Death Coil not in time. Another Frost Nova goes down. A second Crypt Fiend lost there. Silence from the Death Knight, and preventing the kill, as we now see a Death Coil finally being used. All right, Death Coil currently on cooldown. However, a Lich was taken down there. Both sides using that Orb of Corruption fairly effectively to try and pick off units. Death Knight, is it going to be able to get another Death Coil off? Perhaps save a unit. Low hit point Crypt Fiend does get saved, down to 404 hit points, just barely staying alive as he continues this fight again. Lich is staying alive as well. The hero nuking ability onto the Crypt Fiends. It's a bad day to be a spider, absolutely getting squashed all across the map. Low hit point Crypt Fiend, will it be able to get away? Trying to get away, it gets taken down. Destroyer now up in the air, gonna absorb a bit of mana. No web, to be seen as the Destroyer is getting in some additional key hits. Thank you for the follow as we're looking at units off to the north getting picked off again. Obsidian Statue needs to back off. Death Knight now chasing after all of these units here. Lich now making their way as everyone losing units slowly. Total population is 41 compared to 38. Both sides losing some key units in that battle, and both sides will have to go back to their corners, lick their wounds, and see what's going to happen. No, I take it back. Red quickly jumps into the air. Did Blue spot this? Well, Blue, I believe Blue actually spotted this. What's going on here? Are they going to actually try and clear out this Dark Wizard creep camp in the corner? They are, in fact, going to do that. All right, so the Undead Tri-Hero going after a very gutsy, very dangerous, very dangerous red creep camp in the corner. Should be able to pick up a big item. Level 2 now finally on the Lich as the Death Knight now goes the Scroll of Town portal to head back home. All right, one Crypt Fiend taken down. Our units all landing on right here. There's a Death Coil onto the Destroyer to try and save it. Are we going to see the death of a, well, Crypt Fiend? Yes, we are, as more units are falling. There is a Scroll of Town portal. Good trade by Red, picking up what I believe to be a useful item. What was it? Pendant of Mana. Pendant of Mana, providing 250 mana. Wow, that's going to be a big deal right here. All right, let's take a look. Dark Ranger engaging away once again. Lich is also here as well. Observer view, you cannot tell how much mana is on the heroes. Well, you will be able to do that a little bit later as we're looking at the rogues. Well, getting completely debuffed. Destroyers enjoying the taste of that frost armor right there. More units getting taken out. Meanwhile, in the corner here, you can see the Death Knight going to the remainder of this creep camp. Sees that, you know what, hey, the main unit has already been taken out. What can happen? Death Knight needs to get a lot of mana. It's currently sitting at 183 over 595. If that Death Knight gets up to the full 600, that is 9, I believe that's 9 death coils before it runs out of mana. And because of obsidian statues and natural regeneration, we might even see anywhere from 12 to 14 death coils coming out from a Death Knight before that Death Knight runs out of mana here. All right, units trying to take down these rocks. As they get taken down, they're going to be able to clear out this creep camp, perhaps also be able to haunt that gold mine in the corner. My apologies, a haunted gold mine being constructed does not show up on the minimap, so difficult to keep track of and spot. All right, Destroyers going after all these units. Abomination going to go ahead and engage. Quickly needing to back off here. As you can see, there are units knocking on the front door. Crypt, however, very, very strong against the attack of spiders. Going to be able to hold off quite a little longer as the Destroyers should be making their way over here. All right, Abomination could go ahead and try and engage. There's some Abominations. One of them is an illusion. That is important to note, as the Destroyers may waste some key attacks on an illusionary Abomination. Frost Nova onto a Lich. Death Coil does in fact save it. Unit's now trying to head back every which way. There is the illusion there as the unit does get taken down once more. Death Knight now making its way back again. As you can see, the Death Knight on both sides, anti-magic shell, big deal, as those units are, well, trying to get protected in the front line. Low hit point Crypt Fiend. Death Coil does get it back up to full as the units are now backing off once more. All right, Abominations, Illusions, they're pretty much, some of them are somehow being ignored. Not quite sure how he knows what is which, as one Abomination gets a killing blow on a blue Crypt Fiend. All right, units are just absolutely getting picked apart here. You can take a look. Obsidian statues trying to get away, having a hard time doing so. They want to stay close enough to the action. As we can take a look, Death Knight is going to get taken down there. Sorry about the delay in terms of chat. More has to do with, well, I am not a high priority streamer on Twitch, so there's a large amount of delay between when I talk and when it actually shows up on the live stream. Makes it a little bit difficult to interact, but hopefully you guys are still enjoying this game. Slaughterhouse now getting up some more obsidian statues once more. All right. In the corner, you can see one Goblin Zeppelin keeping track of this expansion here. We'll see how all of this is going to go down. Death Knight now going to make its way into the corner, go after the Dark Wizard creep camp. Should be able to do it very, very quickly. And perhaps a Destroyer should come by to try and devour some of this magic as well. Remove the slow being cast not only on the Dark Ranger, but also on that Death Knight. There goes a Renegade Wizard there. Oh, what was it? It is a Gem of Health. So an extra 250 hit points, an extra 300 hit points, 250 mana. The simple stats of that Death Knight seem to be through the roof. And if you don't click on the hero to actually double check how much health it has, you may think it is low on health when it still has 600 to go. All right, Lich now trying to get away. Lich able to squeeze back once more, gets a anti-magic shell going again as the Death Knight and Abominations are continuing to fight and engage. Obsidian statues in the back line here. Let's still have a look. Blue doing a good job putting down the pressure, able to put a lot of pressure on all of these units. And that anti-magic shell is reducing the amount of damage all of these units are taking. All right, Crypt Fiend in the back line here. Is it going to get focused down perhaps by an Abomination? No, not quite yet. Still engaging again once more as the Abominations dance around. Well, still dance around. All right, level 3 finally on the Lich now. Has taken quite some time to get to this point. Meanwhile, Frost Nova is going down all across the board. Potion of Invulnerability is, in fact, used. 15 seconds of Invulnerability to try and pick off some of these very critical units as this Lich does get healed up again. All right, Abomination needs to get into the front line. Another Abomination right there. Banshee looks like it will, in fact, get away. It does, in fact, get taken down, though, as the Dark Ranger gets to level 3. Hey... Well, I can't read the blue name. Sorry, it's just really difficult on the information over there. Anyways, Abominations, Death Knight, Crypt Fiends, Obsidian Statues, pretty much the game we expected to see, as we are still looking at the anti-magic shell doing a lot of work right there in preventing a unit from getting taken out. Dark Ranger attempting to take down some more units here. It looks as though, yes, the Banshee will, in fact, get taken out once more as the black arrows start to eat away at the hit points of the Death Knight. Death Knight now sub 300 hit points. Is the Death Knight going to be able to lead the rest of the army? Rest of the ground units now back on Blight and ready to heal. Death Knight of red sitting at, what, 1275 with almost 100 mana. Meanwhile, blue sitting at 1025 with 330 mana, but also has a potion of mana as well. So far, I'm not quite sure how this is going to happen. Death Knight needs to lead this army, get a large enough army to really combat his opponent's, well, I would say superior army at this point. Almost level 5 on the Death Knight, level 3 on the Lich, and the Dark Ranger sitting at 2, almost 3. Okay, compared to a 4, I believe a 4-3-2 as well. Yes, 4-3-3 as well. All right. Red actually has a slight advantage in the overall experience department, but is that going to translate to the win?
Our forces are under attack.
At the 9 o'clock location, Green Creep Camp now getting cleared up. Should get taken down very fast. Meanwhile, Death Knight going to have a, well, rather easy time doing the rest of this here, taking down all of those units, as the Dark Ranger does in fact get to level 3. Dark Ranger heading, well, ready to head off into his or her own corner of the map. Overall supply 60 compared to 69. Red is a little bit behind, but does he have, well, nope, a chance? I don't know. The longer this expansion goes, the better it will be for him. Well, that was short of me realizing his opponent had also established an expansion during the same time. Thank you for the cheers. Anyways, Obsidian Statue now coming back around. Wow, apparently I am much more tired than I thought. Abomination's going to try to hold that front line. Meanwhile, Destroyer's in the back here. Dark Ranger taking a lot of damage in that front position. Does get a heal. The silence was a little bit late as we are looking at the Dark Ranger trying to pick off some of these units. Anti-magic shell across multiple units. As you can see, the physical damage is really what's going to start to eat at them. Also adding in a little bit of slow as well, as unit after unit is going to start to get picked off. All right, low hit point Crypt Fiend gets death coiled again. Pretty much back up to full hit points. units are engaging. The obsidian statues of blue are sitting a little bit too far away from the action, perhaps, unable to keep this army alive during the times and situations that it matters. All right, red getting actual benefit from being at home. Meanwhile, blue's units are sprinkled throughout red's army, and that is making it difficult for any of the red army to actually retreat easily. Destroyer gonna get taken down. Another destroyer is webbed, now finally under some focus fire as the Dark Ranger turns back around and able to get some easy shots in once more. Are they going to be able to finish off some of those Crypt Fiends? Yes. Skeletal Minions, I don't see them anywhere on the map either, as the Dark Ranger was, well, pretty much out of arrows at that point and time. Another Crypt Fiend gets taken out. Haunted Gold Mine is completed over there at the bottom left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, blue still rushing on in, and this could be a complete offset here in just a second. Blue gonna have a rather easy time trying to take down some of these units, or at least taking down the Crypt Fiends, place of production, the Crypt. Lich now makes its way out. Quick death of a unit there. Also, the loss of the Crypt means no additional Crypt Fiends to be trained up for quite some time, as the Crypt Fiends are still battling it out here compared to the Death Knights. Death Knights the Crypt Fiends going after the Banshees with their unarmored body type, taking huge damage. Blue continuing to make their way through, able to get in a lot of damage onto that Lich, as the Lich now tries to escape. Will be able to do exactly that, but if it tries to re-engage again, well, it will have a very bad time. Lich sitting at 474 hit points, taking far too much damage. Another Death Coil from the Death Knight does save it. Still has enough for one more Death Coil, as the units are continuing to push into this game here. All right, let's take a look. The main bases have been mined out, so it is still only, what, 42 gold, 420 gold a minute versus 420 gold a minute. The 30% tax because the players are over 50 supply is absolutely huge. And if red actually somehow lost a unit, that might actually benefit him right now, as he would no longer be in low upkeep. More attacks getting underway. Hi, how are you doing? You can take a look. Obsidian statues now making their way down. Death Knight going to be forced to pull back once more, and red is starting to be up against the ropes. His standing army isn't standing very tall, doesn't have the numbers behind him to really make any sort of big plays any longer, as the Death Knight goes slowly but surely after the, well, smaller units up in the front line. The Abomination down to 340 hit points, should be able to escape, does in fact escape, as we're still having the Lich now get to 4. A long drawn out battle here inside the base of red, and even though red does have home field advantage, faster reinforcement time, even a Black Citadel to offer a bit of slowing, it is not enough. Death Knight getting up to 5. Let's take a look. Abomination could get taken down to 37 hit points. One more shot should do it. No, Crypt Fiend taken down first, as we are looking at the Abomination trying to make its way in. It should get out of there, needs to heal back up in some way, shape, or form. Death Knight wishing he could Death Coil and take out an Abomination. Meanwhile, the Obsidian statues are in the backfield, just laying waste to all of these units once more. Death Knight up against Death Knight. Pretty standard game, and that is just not going to cut it. Let's take a look. Red able to heal up another Abomination, pretty much back up to full. Meanwhile, where is the blue Death Knight? Blue Death Knight still sitting at level 5. And if it does get reanimated dead, I wonder if he will get to level 6. Will he actually use that ability, since a lot of players don't really like that, as opposed to, say, just level 3 Unholy Aura. Anyways, in that instance, blue does take the game. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I think I need to take a little bit of a break, but anyone on YouTube, you probably won't know the difference.